everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised. Retrostatic Radio presents Killing 15 Minutes.
Hello and welcome to Killing 15 Minutes, where we will give you your serial killer fix in 15 minutes or less, or your podcast is free. I'm Sam Rossi, and shortly I will be handing a poorly written synopsis of a serial killer to my brother, who hasn't read it, on a serial killer he's most likely hasn't heard of. This should be fun. Good luck, bro.
Thank you, sister. Eddie Leonski was a member of the U.S. Army and serial killer that strangled 3 women in Melbourne, Australia in 1942. Leonski was dubbed the Brown Out Strangler after Melbourne's wartime practice of dropping the electricity. Did you really have to phrase it, dropping the electricity voltage to conserve energy?
I was really stoned when I wrote this, so yes, I did, because that's just how I know what brownouts are. They drop the electrical voltage because it's to save energy.
Just say they cut power.
Because they weren't cutting power, they weren't doing full blackouts.
Oh, they weren't full black?
No, that's why they dropped the voltage to make them brownouts.
I thought brownout was just they did blackouts to specific sections.
No, those are rolling blackouts.
Oh, the more you know. Doo-doo-doo. He claimed he killed the women to get their voices. One of these guys.
Yeah, very Ursula of him.
Leonski was born in 1917 into an abusive alcoholic family. Take a shot. One of his brothers would be institutionalized. According to later shrink analysis of the mother, the mother was overprotective and controlling. It is believed that he committed symbolic matricide, born from his resentment and hatred of his mother. He would be drafted into the army in 1941, as a lot of people were, and arrived in Melbourne, Australia on February 2nd, 1942, after the U.S. had officially joined World War II. Ivy McLeod, aged 40, was found dead on May 3rd, 1942, in Albert Park. She had been beaten and then strangled. Her purse was found with her, ruling out a robbery. Then there was Pauline Thompson, 31, who was found 6 days later strangled after a night out on the town. She was last seen with a young man with an American accent. I wonder who that was. Gladys Hosking, 40, was murdered on May 18th while walking home from work at her job at the chemistry department at the University of Melbourne. A disheveled American man had asked another woman for directions, covered in mud and seemingly out of breath. This description matched the individual Thompson was seen with on the night of her murder, as well as the ones from women who survived other recent attacks in the area. These survivors and other witnesses were able to pick 24-year-old Leonski out of a lineup of American servicemen who were stationed in Melbourne. Leonski was arrested and charged with these 3 murders. Leonski's crimes were committed in Australia. However, the trial was done under American military law, as he was a serviceman at the time.
Yep.
He confessed to the crimes and was convicted. Sentenced to death at a general court-martial on July 17, 1942, General Douglas MacArthur himself confirmed the sentence on October 14th, and a board of review upheld the findings and sentence on October 28th. On November 4th, MacArthur personally signed the order of execution. Leonski was hanged on November 9th at HM Prison Pentridge?
Yeah.
Leonski was hanged on November 9th at HM Prison Pentridge. Leonski is the first and only citizen of another country to have been tried and sentenced to death in Australia under the law of their own country. That was a quickie.
I had to do it after the Red Ripper. I needed some
light work.
Some light work. And Eddie was weird. Eddie is the I believe he is the only person to ever have Douglas MacArthur personally sign his execution warrant.
Well, I assumed being the head honcho at the time.
He didn't do it. His chief of staff usually was the one to sign off on those.
Fair enough. But then again, this was also a unique case.
It is a unique case.
So it's very easy to have a little bit of a personal touch when it comes.
But he by the way, I figured out what the what HM stands for.
Yeah.
What?
I can't remember.
His Majesty's.
Oh yeah.
Because he was killed before King George died. He was if it was after King George died in 1950 something.
So luckily,
it would have been
him and her starts the same. So
that is why it's HM is Her Majesty's Penitentiary.
Yeah, it depends on when it was built. Is it actually dependent on when it was built or who's
based
in
on
charge?
Who's in charge?
Okay, fair enough.
At least that's what I always assumed. I never looked it up, and it makes the most amount of sense.
And so that's the fact you learned today.
Learn something new.
I do find it actually very interesting because I would love to see a breakdown of this leading to something like military, like I believe military police were still a thing in 1940.
Oh yeah,
to some extent, like not in the same.
There was not the NCIS or the CIS or the ACIS, Army Criminal Service. Yeah,
I think it's Army Criminal Service or JAG or anything like that.
Well, no, they had JAG because lawyers have always been a thing.
Well, yeah, but I don't think JAG has an office of.
Well, JAG is for the Navy.
Well, yes, but I'm talking in general. I know.
Yeah, no. But each branch has its own little specialty.
Well, but that's what I mean. Is like if cases like this, and again, this is just.
I'm not sure.
If there's an episode later on that has us talking about, something similar to this, and we actually have this information, then you'll know why. But I wonder if something like, especially this, because. While, yes, court-martialings have been a thing, the Code of Military Justice, stuff like that.
It's been a thing since the start of...
Well, it's probably gone through some iterations, and it probably didn't start off called the Uniform Military Code of Justice.
But you got to think,
or military...
for the U.S., part of ours is based off of British Code of Justice and Code of... honor, the honor code and all that shit.
Yes. No, I know. And that's why I'm thinking it might be interesting because I'm assuming the reason that it was under Australian law, despite being... They had to court-martial him and everything like that, but...
He is from what I understand, he is still the only person to be executed in Australia based on their home country's law. If that makes the most amount of sense.
No, it does.
So he was tried in Australia, but it was all American. Unlike now, I'm pretty sure if say Australia wants to go after some guy who
someone who strangled a hooker.
Strangled a hooker.
No offense to the three women Leonski.
No. Especially since one of them was a college professor.
Yeah, the chemistry department, I assume.
Yeah, she they were all educated women. That none of them were, hookers or anything like that, from what I understand.
Right.
But it was also the 40s, and
But anyways, so if someone
now
did it,
I believe
more than likely, since it would probably depend on where he did it.
Where he did it, what our treaties all say, yada yada yada. There,
Yeah.
but
he'd probably be court-martialed, and then he'd be dishonorable discharge, and then be a civilian through.
Or depending if he was still active, he would end up in military prison.
Well, that's
but
also
I'm not.
possible.
I don't know the last time we've executed somebody
officially,
military-wise.
Nah, politicians are the only who are allowed to do that anymore.
I know, right? Anyways.
So what's the next one? Is it going to be another light military jaunt?
No, I think the next one is a unsolved murder. What is the next one?
Timothy Spencer.
Ooh, you're going to like him.
I know about the Southside Strangler. Tune in next week, folks.
Have a great day, guys.
Doses.
Killing 15 Minutes is hosted by Arthur Carey, with scripts written and researched by Sam Rossi. If you like this episode or want to stay updated on this series, consider following Killing 15 Minutes on Patreon or Retrostatic Radio on all major social media platforms. Good night and God bless.
You're watching Retrostatic Radio.
Wheel of Random is turn, turn, turn. Tell us the 15 minutes we shall learn.
I'm Sam Rossi, writer and co-host of Randomly 15 Minutes, where the Wheel of Randomness gives me the topic and I write about it.
I'm Megan Klodnicki, and I'm the host of Randomly 15 Minutes. I cold read what Sam writes and learn in real time about a random topic.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms and YouTube.
Follow us on Facebook at Randomly 15 Minutes to get more random facts.